Hey, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen, and I'm Elisa, and I'm back doing another reading. It definitely is like for a couple weeks, well, you know, like I kind of started this reading rampage because the energy was like super intense, and so there was like all these different elements that were kind of like pointing to the same story, and it was really intense. But in the last couple days, it was like there was this big tower moment, and I think the reading was called Burning Down the House, and like everything crumbled to the ground. And then, and like ever since then, like this new story has kind of started to emerge out of that. So that's interesting. And actually it looks really good. So at the bottom of the deck we have the 10 of Cups. So this is happiness, abundance, fulfillment, family, like stability, like it's good, you know. And then we have the Knight of Wands. So this could be a bold move. It could be like a player energy, but it's sort of like fiery, like impulsive energy coming your way. And then we have the Star. So this is like a healing energy, and it's like wishes coming true. It could be like being recognized for your accomplishments. But like these three cards kind of lead to this sort of like some bold thing happens. I had to take this sweatshirt off because it's like hot, so excuse me. Some bold move happens, and then like we get to some kind of happy ending almost. So that's really interesting. I mean, I've been like relating all the energy to this crisis in Ukraine because like I think so much of the world's collective consciousness is focused on that situation. So I think it like really demonstrates a lot. But you know, like we're having peace talks again right now, and it's been at this stalemate for a while, which like the readings have also. But there's peace talks again, so maybe this is a good sign for the peace talks. Okay, so at the bottom we got the owl. So we've been getting this a lot too, and this is a card of like, you know, looking out for the signs and synchronicities, because you've got like ancestors or spiritual elements on the other side that are like watching over and trying to kind of help. So like stay open to the signs. And so what's weird is, so there was a reading where this came out. I feel like it was maybe in the generational curse reading, which I'm going to put up here. And like I was telling this story about how in the Burning Down the House reading, I posted it, and then like literally like within a couple hours, there were all these fire trucks on the street, and like the house across the street like was on fire. It didn't burn all the way down, but like it's bad enough that I don't think that the people can live there. And I don't know, there was a lot of smoke. It's like I don't know how they're gonna get that smoke smell out, but it was kind of creepy, you know, because I posted that. And then I did the generational curse reading, and I had done it, but I hadn't posted it yet. And like this owl, you know, and it was like, pay attention to the signs, like it came out in the reading. And so we go out, we check out the fire, we come back, and like we're hanging out at home, and like I'm making dinner, and then like we're eating dinner, and like I hear this loud thud, like huge. And then it turns out that this hawk had like just flown right into our window, and it was huge. It was a huge bird. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I look out the window, and there's this hawk, and it's like literally knocked out in the shrubs. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is so weird. Like the readings, like it was kind of starting to creep me out. Like I'm like, ah. So I grabbed my phone because I wanted to take a picture, because I was trying to figure out what bird it was, because I'm like, what kind of sign is this? But as soon as I opened the door, the hawk woke up, and it like flew away like really fast. So I'm like glad that the hawk like was okay, you know, but anyways, signs, they're coming your way, so pay attention. And then we got Wild Woman. So this is a card of like actualization and self-determination and being your authentic self. So this is really interesting, especially in the context of the Ukraine crisis to me, because like that's kind of what the people of Ukraine are fighting for. They're fighting for self-determination and to not be oppressed, you know? And then we have the Sun. So this is a card of like, it's not a time to shy away. Like it's a card to like stand up. It means like it's time to stand up and be counted. It's time to like shine your light, you know? So that's really interesting too, because there was this whole reading about something about empowering the divine feminine energy, which I'm going to post up here. And it was talking about how there was sort of like this impossible obstacle, but like by tuning in, paying attention to the signs and synchronicities, like you could be guided through to the other side of the situation, you know, like towards this happy ending, you know. So this is really, really interesting. I'm going to go to the Intuitive Goddess and I'm going to pick some more cards. But yeah, this is really, really interesting because, you know, like I said, there's been this impasse and like nobody's been able to see past it. And it's like, what are we going to do? How are we going to get past this? And then it was like everything crumbled to the ground, you know? And it's interesting because like I've been talking about this whole story about how like the collective consciousness has shifted and like some people have like done the work and come into alignment with it and adapted to it, and some people are still trying to hang on to the past. And like, so now like what's happened since then is like the way everything was, it's like everything burned down and like crumbled to the ground. And so it's like now what do we do? But it's like the people who have kind of like shifted their foundation elsewhere, like I think are going to have somewhere to go, you know? And that's kind of why like it's like we're still kind of in shock and trauma from all the fire, but like actually maybe that's what it took to like create an opening, you know, because the readings have like changed now. Okay, so we have the Witch. So this is a magician. This is a manifestor. This is like you have all the tools and all the elements to create something out of nothing. Like the world is your oyster. Like it's you can create the world in your vision, you know. So then we have the Seven of Swords. So this is a card of lies and deception. Not being in alignment of the truth. We have the Warrior of Cups. We have the Seven of Cups. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles. So this is really interesting because like, because I'm relating everything back to the Ukraine crisis again, like everyone's been talking about how are we going to end this like impasse? Like how are we going to, you know, and like I've heard this mentioned a few times, but like so there's this book called The Art of War by Sun Tzu, and someone gave me the book one time when I was kind of in this down and out place where I'd sort of been I don't know, like I think a lot of women sort of experience this. I mean, that was the whole divine feminine reading, like a situation of sort of being exploited and beaten down, and I'm like, how do I deal with this, you know? And so someone gave me the book, but like people are talking about how are they going to get like Vladimir Putin to come down, you know, from his stance. And like the advice in The Art of War is that you have to build a golden bridge for your enemy so that they can sort of like feel like they've won, so that they'll come back to this neutral place, you know, so that they can still claim that they've won, you know, because It's like if you corner someone and feel like they have nothing to lose, then they're going to do the crazy stuff, like send out nuclear weapons or whatever, you know? So it's interesting because we have this liar, you know, we have this person who's like not in alignment with the truth and like, you know, causing all this pain, but we're sending them this cup of love. And like, that's causing kind of confusion because it's just like not really what anyone expects maybe. But out of that, we have this 9 of Pentacles emerging. So this is like this person, like they're sort of independent. They're like financially stable. Like they've got their own solid foundation. And like that person is kind of emerging from this sort of kerfuffle, you know? So, and what's interesting is like, when I look at the way this goes, it's like we have this lie and then we have this cup going away from the lie towards this 9 of Pentacles. So, and it's also towards the chaos. So it's just sort of like, it's not really clear, like, what the choice is, because there's all these choices here, but what is clear is that there's healing happening. Like, whatever this is, like, there's healing happening. So, oh my gosh, we're totally getting past the impasse finally, because it's been like forever, and everybody's ready for it to be over. So, I'm going to go to the Everyday Tarot, pick a couple cards, but it's just like, oh my gosh, like we're starting to see the future again. Oh my gosh, I just got the star again. That's the second star. That's really cool. All right. Okay, so at the bottom we have the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is like totally in command of the pentacle energy. This is an abundant, stable king who like has a really solid foundation, you know. And we have the star, which is this healing energy, which fell right on top of, interestingly, these two cards. This love being offered and this lie. We have things coming back into balance, which fell on top of this, like maybe opening up some options. And then we have the 9 of Cups falling on top of the 9 of Pentacles. Like, which is coming true for this independent energy? So that's super, super interesting. I'm going to go to the Queen of the Moon Oracle, pick a final card. This looks good. I mean, it looks like we're finally starting to move forward and it's totally starting to heal from whatever the generational curse or the trauma was that we've been working on, towards something new. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. So at the bottom we have extremes. So it's like we're still, it sounds like we're still purging all this toxic energy. Like there's healing that's happening, but things are coming into balance. And then we have this power, and it's like divine feminine power. So this, like, I'm going to link back to the divine feminine reading. This is my divine feminine mom here. Because this reading came out in the last, this card came out in that reading and in the last reading that I did. So I'm just gonna post a link to it here. But this is definitely like, it looks like this 9 of Pentacles energy is kind of becoming empowered after maybe being impressed by some sort of deception.
to some fly?
No, my mom just asked me if I was cold in Japanese, which I'm not because I just took off the sweatshirt. Anyways, that's it for today. See you soon.